All right, guys. Once again, welcome. This is Junior and the Big Dog, episode numero dos, baby. It's
That's
all about
right.
you. Spring football's over. Spring football's over, Big Dog. It's come to an end after the dress rehearsal, you could say, in Orlando. So we're gonna be talking about our take on that, our analysis on that. But before we get to that, how's it going? How's your night going so far?
I'm excited. I'm ready. Today I am bringing the funk, bringing the pain.
Oh, yeesh.
That's it.
Let's get it.
Throwing out knowledge.
Trying a different camera angle for you guys. I know the first podcast I was kind of like looking down, so a little more perspective on the face here, and I want to be more engaged with you guys as well. So this is a part of the process. So go ahead.
What I'm gonna do, since you're young and handsome and stuff, to help the viewers, I might put my camera in another room.
No.
Do it from like really far away.
I get my amazing looks from you. I'm starting to get a lot of white hairs too, so
Yeah,
maybe I'll start getting the white beard soon enough.
I'm telling you.
All right.
White chest hair,
Yeah.
white other hair. Tell
Hey.
you what.
All right, let's keep it PG for the audience. All right. So let's get into it. Miami Hurricanes football, Junior and the Big Dog, like we said. Welcome, guys. Hit that like, subscribe, comment if you can. We would really appreciate it. Where do you want to get started today, Big Dog?
Well, let's first. I guess we should go over the spring game and go over the stats of the spring game and talk about that a little bit, and then we'll start talking about the other stuff.
Okay.
One thing I do want to mention is that we talked about in the beginning. We're not going to keep beating this like a dead horse, but there was a big quote, and it became like a breaking story. Andrea, I can't pronounce her last name. She's a reporter for ESPN, said that an inside source inside the Miami athletic department told them that don't be surprised if Nkosi Perry is the starting quarterback.
Right.
And that was reported like if it was big time news. First off, out of the three quarterbacks, who's the one that has the most experience at the college level?
That would be Nkosi.
Nkosi. Was Nkosi not like the number 3 dual threat quarterback by ESPN? He was number 7 on 247.
Right.
But wasn't he the number 3 on the ESPN rankings?
Yes, he was.
So how is that even a story? And then I don't know if and again, I don't want to pick on her, but that's the type of like misinformation that they throw out there. Because if somebody tells me that, I go, what do you mean? Do you mean you think he's leading the race now to be quarterback? And no, none of that. Just don't be surprised if he's the quarterback. And I'm like, that is literally a non-story. That is like saying, hey, by the way, if the sun comes out tomorrow morning, don't be surprised.
Yeah.
So if somebody other than Perry wins the job, they have the fallback position of saying, well, I didn't say he was going to win it. All I said was, if he did, don't be surprised.
I just, we're Canes fans, and the Canes fan out there would obviously, pick that apart and like we're doing now. But for somebody that's not in tune with our program and what's going on here, I mean, you hear a comment like that, and you're just like, oh, just like, and Nkosi really is going to be the quarterback, guys. So that's it.
There you go.
That begins the row of misinformation, and then I mean, that's like saying, hey, don't be surprised if the Hurricanes roll out a quarterback August 24th. You might as well say the same thing. I mean, everybody knows this is an open competition. You got Tate, Jaren, and Cozy. Don't be surprised if Tate's the quarterback. Don't be surprised if Jaren's a quarterback. Don't be surprised if anybody's a quarterback, frankly. So
there you go.
It's
now,
just
now, if you tell me Carson Proctor rolls out August 24th as our starting quarterback, okay, I'd be surprised.
Right. Yeah.
Andrea
Andelson, I guess is how you pronounce her name.
And again, and I don't want to. It's not like picking on a single reporter, but that's not a story. That's not a story.
I know.
I mean, it's now if it was like followed with some content, some actual content of like, well, he right now he's leading the pack, or right now he has a better grasp of the offense than the other two do. Okay, that's actual information.
Right.
but to put that out there like you're saying something, when in reality it's a completely nonsensical statement.
Yeah, and
It's not
guys,
saying anything.
this is a verified, ESPN reporter, everything. So it's not, some local reporter that's just saying this. So this is somebody that's it's a legit reporter from ESPN saying this, and it goes to show you. It's just one of the examples that we talked about in our last podcast of how bad these reporters can be at times. I mean, really, it's
It,
ridiculous. It really is.
it's literally because, like I said, if you say you were my source at Miami,
Yeah.
okay, and you say those words to me, my follow up is, because that's not a story. My follow up is, what do you mean? Has Enos said that he likes Perry?
Yeah.
Has is Perry have a better grasp of the offense? Is he really ahead of the other two?
Yeah.
Because if you look at it, and it's funny, and we'll talk about the QBs and we'll break that down towards the end because we'll go over a depth chart after spring.
Right.
But one of the things is, in fact, coaches as a whole, they have that coach speak that they won't necessarily say what they're really thinking for good reason. Because if you say something public, for right now, let's say he's not ready to make a decision, Enos and Manny Diaz, they're not ready to make a decision on who's the quarterback.
Right.
Okay. They would serve no purpose to say, oh, but this guy is in front. Whoever it is, whether it's Nkosi, Jaron, or Tate.
Right.
That serves no purpose, because what you do is you make the lead guy complacent and you discourage the other two.
Right.
So it serves no purpose. So they're not going to say who's ahead until they name a starter.
Right.
Okay. And the thing is, if you look at it, you look at their performances in the spring, the thing that Nkosi, and right now why I think he is, if I had to, even though we still think it'll be Jaron, if I had to name a leader, it'd be Nkosi, because here's the thing. The first scrimmage, Nkosi was the better quarterback. He had the best day. Second scrimmage, it was Jaron. And this past scrimmage is Tate. Right? So each quarterback took turns being the best in a particular scrimmage.
But not just that, but Nkosi he's been consistent.
That's the
all
point.
3 scrimmages, right?
That's my point. That's why I think Nkosi right now is in the lead.
Right.
But he's in the lead because even though he's only been the best guy in that first scrimmage, he's never been the worst guy.
Right.
And he's had good days all 3 days.
Yeah.
Jaron had a bad one in the first scrimmage, the one that was closed. Okay, so he was the worst one out of the 3 that first, because they didn't even give a completion number for Jaron.
Right.
They just said he threw for 53 yards.
Yeah.
Tate was horrible in that second scrimmage, the one at Traspal at the Mecca.
Yeah.
Okay. And then this past scrimmage, probably Jaron was again the number 3 guy. Because Tate had a big day. Perry had a good day.
I don't think that's something that you can argue.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I think right now, if I were to gauge it, and we'll talk about that, because I do want to say that I think nothing's been decided, and I'll tell you why when we get to the quarterbacks. But right now, it'd be fair to say Perry's in the lead, Jaron's second, and Tate pulled up, because for a while there it seemed like he was going to be gone.
Yeah.
And again, we'll talk about Tate specifically again later. But the thing is, I do think it's 1A, 1B, and 1C with Perry, Jaron, and Tate.
Yeah, but this has been one of those things that I've learned to check myself on, because you have a tendency to overreact with a certain scrimmage and stuff like that. So at least for me, and I'm just speaking for myself, and you could tell me how you felt, but I looked so much into even the first scrimmage that wasn't available to the public, looking into what the coaches were saying, and then trying to get a grasp on how exactly they played, even though you couldn't really see them. But so the second scrimmage, you were able, to get an eye test for all the quarterbacks. And then obviously this past Saturday in Orlando, another, eye test on the quarterbacks. But something that I'm not falling into the trap of is trying to say, okay, I know this guy's going to be the starter 100% August 24th. Because, correct. I mean, like you said, Nkosi's been the most consistent one, but Nkosi's also the one with the most experience, game experience. So You know,
Right.
he looks different with Dan Enos 100%, and I'm loving what I'm seeing from Nkosi. I still think, you know, the things that we talked about in the first podcast, inconsistencies, inconsistencies, his inconsistencies is one of those things that just, you know, I don't know, but
And
he looks better, dude. He looks better, and with Enos and stuff like that, he's starting to feel more comfortable, and he does have that experience. And like you said, I think he's in the lead right now. But going back to the point that I was trying to make before, it's you got to be careful not to overreact and not to you know to boast because you want one guy to win, or boast because, oh, you saw that pass, yeah, but it didn't look like this pass. I mean, guys, we're still in spring, you know. We're gonna allude to this later, obviously, about what the coaches have said about how they perform and the things that they do in the summer. You know, without their guidance 100% of the time, is going to eventually determine who's going to be the starter based on leadership, based on the work that they put in, you know, when it's not mandatory, you know, because
I,
all this work in the summer is going to be, you know, it's going to be voluntary. I mean, if you want to go in there and you want to get better and you want to work, then you do it, but you're not going to have the coaches on your behind forcing you to do it. So that is going to, and we're going to see in the fall when we get some more looks and at practices, we're going to really see who's the one that put in the most work during the summer.
I think today I want to say he might have done it on WQAM, but there was an article and 247 that even talked about it, that Manny today said that the summer months, or these 2 months leading up to summer practice,
Right.
is going to decide who the quarterback is.
Yeah.
And I truly believe this. Day one, when they report for the summer sessions, okay, Daninos and Manny Diaz are going to talk, and the guy that shows up with the best grasp of the offense, okay, the guy who has that offense down pat, the guy who these next 2 months meets with receivers alone and sets it up where, you know, hey, KJ, let's me, Jeff Thomas, well, he's rehabbing the knee, but Mark Pope, let's all get together and just start practicing. Whoever does that the most, whoever works. You remember Dan Eno said this almost from day one, that one of the things that he does is they're going to do exit interviews with all the players.
Right.
And they're going to say, but when you report back for the summer session, this is what I want you to work on. This is where I expect you to be. Okay. The quarterback that does all those things, that works, and one of the things, and this is the point I was making, with Dan Enos, he says that he tailors a workout regimen to quarterbacks depending on the things that he feels that they need to work on.
Right.
So he'll give them specific drills. If you have issues with your footwork, this is the drills I want you to do. The guy who does those things the most, who works the hardest, that will be your quarterback come August 24th.
100%. Yep.
Period. Because nothing has been decided.
Yeah. But one of the things that excites me, besides trying to see what quarterbacks comes out of the summer looking the best, is this whole push for competition, not just in spring, not just in the fall, but in the summer, of basically saying, oh, whoever puts in the most amount of work. This extends much further than just the quarterbacks, because now you're going to have these quarterbacks trying to take this job, and they know the expectations, you know, set forth by Enos and Manny. So they know they have to put in the work. They know they have to be a leader. You know, being a quarterback is not just dropping back and finding an open man, or, you know, reading defenses. No. It's being a captain and being a leader and leading your guys. I mean, that's what it comes down to, and that's what Enos and Manny, you know, want in the quarterback that's going to start August 24th. So, but this is going to bring everybody else along. This is going to bring our wide receivers, our tight ends. It just feels like, you know, the message to the program in terms of, hey guys, no, this is no BS anymore. You know, you're not going to just get by here. You know, if you want to start, if you want to, you know, make an impact on this team, you got to put in the work. And that goes not just for the quarterbacks, but that goes for every single player on the team. And so that's something that it just gets me excited, man. Just to have
Oh,
that competition, back on all areas of the field, not just the quarterbacks.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's a great point. And Manny has said it, you know, like I was saying before, coaches have coach speak
Mm-hmm.
for a specific reason. There's something that they can't answer the truthfully
Right.
because the message that it's on the players.
Right.
So they have to be careful of those type of things. They also don't say things obviously to be derogatory about the opponent, so there is coach speak.
Yeah.
But in between that, they will tell you some truths.
Mm-hmm.
They'll tell you something that's factual.
Yeah.
And Manny, from the very beginning, what was he been preaching? Either you want to be great or you don't want to be a Hurricane.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, period.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. And you're going to see that. Well, we saw it with the depth chart.
Mm-hmm.
At spring. Who did he put at first team? Guys that worked the hardest during the winter.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to multiply now because now they've been through 15 12 practices and 3 scrimmages.
Mm-hmm.
They have been through that already.
Right.
So now their expectations when summer comes is going to be elevated.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to want these guys and they're going to know, oh, you put in the work, you did it.
Right.
And when you didn't, you're going to not see the field, period.
Exactly. Right.
So whatever quarterback, and you said at other positions too,
Mm-hmm.
that they show up and believe me, even though they can't practice with the coaches,
Mm-hmm.
they can with strength and conditioning coach for part of that time,
Right.
but they can't with the other coaches. Trust me, every single coach is going to know with the guys in their unit what they're doing these next 2 months.
Well, you brought up strength and conditioning. The interview with Feely in after one of the practices, he talks about it. They asked him, who impresses you the most, in the weight room and such, and he said, Rousseau. And look how Rousseau has performed in every single practice and scrimmage that we hear about. And then he alluded to Shaq and he alluded to Pickney. So it's no coincidence that the guys that are working the hardest in the weight room are also the guys that you see performing the best on the field. Because when it comes to our linebackers, Shaq and Pickney, thank God they came back. But if they don't come back, NFL, there's no question about it. And Rousseau is gonna finally show this year, assuming he stays healthy, praying to God that he stays healthy. He's gonna show the country how how good he really is. But it translates because those are the guys putting in the most work, and those are the guys that are really trying to get better. We heard it from, look at Zion Nelson. He gained how much? He came in at
242.
242.
And Feely said he's at 271, so he gained 29 pounds and all good weight.
All good weight. So
All good
and
weight.
and you see his performance. So it's a product of that competition and getting better, not just on the field but in the weight room. And then those guys that pop out that are a beast for this team, it shows. So then we're going to see how this summer goes. Go ahead.
This is a perfect example of that. What you're going to hear people say, well, oh man, all coaches say, if you work hard and this and that. Okay, let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
Is Zion Nelson a true freshman?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, early enrollee. We're done with spring. They're talking about, Dan Enos said yesterday or day before yesterday in the post scrimmage, post spring game press conference.
Right.
He said that Zion continues what he's doing, he's going to be a first team left tackle.
Yeah.
Said it. He said it clearly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let me ask you a question. The prior regime, you think an undersized first year true freshman, and he's not undersized, he's 6'5". I should say underweight,
Mm-hmm.
because he hasn't.
Well, especially
he hasn't
the way he
filled out.
came in, right?
Correct. Stacy Searles wouldn't have developed him, and Mark Richt wouldn't have let him play.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Even DJ Scaife, he didn't let him play until he was forced to,
Right.
because we couldn't find the right tackle.
Yeah.
So that's the thing is Manny's not playing, Dan Enos is not playing.
Mm-hmm.
You work hard, you do the job, you're gonna get on the field.
Yeah.
You don't work hard, you're not gonna be a Hurricane for long.
Speaking of which, since you kind of brought it up there, what do you think about and I haven't even, I haven't discussed this with you at all about Richt and the ACC college football analyst. I like the way he came in, and the first question like he asked when he was there, because he was at the spring game on Saturday, and so he was talking to reporters and such like that. So one of the first things he said was, so who do you guys think is going to be the starting quarterback? So I like the fact that he has a sense of humor, but some of the things that he said goes back to the things that we talked about on our first podcast about all the great things about him. It was really genuine in him just feeling like it was a right time to lead the program. Now, he still says that, nobody forced him out and nobody, was making him change anything, so take that as you will. But I think that it's going to be fun watching him. Regardless, I have no, ill feelings towards Rick. So it's going to be fun watching them on the new ACC network. It's going to be launched in August. So hopefully there's going to be a lot more Hurricanes coverage when it comes, on that network, and not like the SEC/ESPN network that they have going on over there. But I thought it was pretty cool. Mark Richt got basically offered a job by ESPN. So yeah, it was cool seeing him there and seeing him interact with the fans and stuff like that. So I think that was a cool little nugget, on Saturday. But you want to get to let's get to the quarterbacks. We kind of touched on it.
Let's do the stats first. We'll talk about the stats of the spring game.
Right. So yeah. The quarterbacks though. You want to go to the quarterbacks? Okay.
Let's go ahead.
All right.
So we got Tate. Tate was 6 of 10, 154 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions.
Mm-hmm.
Big thing with Tate is the way they did the spring game was different than they had been doing the scrimmages.
Mm-hmm.
The first team offense went against the second team defense, and the second team offense went against the first team defense.
Right.
So Tate was the only quarterback that really moved the ball against the first team defense. Mm-hmm. On that big drive, they got down to the 3-yard line and it stalled, and then Bubba Backside missed the field goal.
Yep.
But the fact is, Tate was able to move the ball using his arm and using his feet. And he also only gave up 2 of the sacks were on Tate.
Mm-hmm.
And Cozy had 4 sacks against him, and Jaron had 3. And some of these were bad sacks, that they were just holding the ball way too long.
Coverage sacks, basically.
Correct. And or at least sacks that they should have got rid of the ball.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Or, all 3 of them can run.
Mm-hmm.
So do what Tate did. Tate rushed for like 18 yards also.
Yeah.
So, and Cozy, again, was solid. I got it here. And Cozy was 9 of 13 for 145 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. But like I said, he did give up, it was 4 sacks when he was in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Jaron was 4 of 6, 44 yards, 1 touchdown and 1 interception. The interception, it was an underthrown ball. I was watching the game on the feed by Alonzo 1219. Thank you so much for televising the game. I know I said thank you before.
Clutch. Shout out to Alonzo 1219, guys. Go check out his channel. He posted up the live feed of the game because basically it wasn't being televised anywhere else. So big shout out to you, Zoe. We appreciate it, man.
Absolutely. So Zoe said it as he was watching the game, and he was giving us the video. He said that he thought that interception would have actually been a completion to KJ Osborne, and that he would have been down by contact.
Yeah, they took it from him.
Correct. Jimmy Murphy wrestled the ball away from him.
Mm-hmm.
So it might have not been an interception, but it was underthrown. There was no doubt it was underthrown.
Yeah.
Now, the one thing with Jaron is he made the throw of the day. And this is, and again, I'm beating a dead horse, and we'll go to the quarterbacks.
I feel bad for the horses, man, because we've been beating horses.
I know. Jaron.
Pause. Go ahead.
Jaron made the throw of the day. He has an ability to anticipate throws, to throw people open.
Yeah.
He made a throw to the back of the end zone to Will Mallory.
Mm-hmm.
And Mallory was covered. I think it was Patrick Joyner, in fact, that was covering him.
Mm-hmm.
He was covered, and Jaron threw him open.
Yeah.
saw that the linebacker had his back to Jaron, and he put the ball in a perfect location where only Will Mallory's going to catch it, and Will made a great catch.
Yeah.
So he had that day. We go over here. KJ did have that big 80-yard touchdown, 3 catches, 105 yards. But he did allow Jimmy Murphy to take that ball away from him. But KJ has been really consistent. I wouldn't be surprised if KJ leads the team in receptions.
That's what I was gonna say. Sure hands. You know,
Sure hands.
in a different way. He's gonna be like our Braxton. You know, where you throw it his way, he's gonna come down with it. You know,
Yeah.
One of those security blankets for the quarterback that's gonna come in clutch this year for sure.
Yeah, he has, and he also has more speed than people think, and he has some shiftiness.
You saw it. You saw it on the 80-yard run, because that was like a maybe 10 to 15-yard pass that he just took to the house. So it did come on an RPO. So that was pretty cool. From Tate was able to make that good read and make that good pass. One of the things I will say about Tate that we've seen in high school and we saw a little bit in Ohio State is it just seems that he just works a lot better from the shotgun.
He does.
That's one of those things that I've seen, that I've noticed.
But the thing is, I think part of that he's 5'11".
Well, yeah, exactly.
You know, and yeah, I mean, some of that's overrated. You know, you can still see. It's not because you're shorter. It's not you can't see.
Drew Brees, Russell Wilson. I mean, those are short guys,
exactly.
Pretty much the same size. And
I just think he's not comfortable in the pocket.
Yeah.
You know, that's one of the things Steve Young talked about, that for a quarterback who has ability to run, it's really hard not to take advantage of that.
Right.
And that's the thing with Tate, is as soon as he feels pressure, he wants to either roll out or take off.
Right.
So, but listen, there's more than one way to skin a cat. And so that's the way he plays. And I think Enos is perfectly capable of, even though he will use him under center and he wants Tate to work on the footwork, I think Enos could absolutely tailor an offense that suits Martell. I think regardless of if Nkosi or Jaron is a starter, Dan Enos will have a Tate Martell package. Martell will see the field.
Yes.
I 100% believe that.
Yeah.
Even if Tate doesn't win the job, which again, we'll see what happens. But if Tate doesn't win the job, we will use Martell the way Ohio State used Martell at times, which is a Tate package of RPOs, of design runs by the quarterback, of, because you have to take advantage of the things that he does well.
He's too dynamic not to have him on the field.
Absolutely.
Way too dynamic.
Absolutely. And he's the guy, and you think about it, he's 5'11", and he's like 205, and it's a solid 205.
Yeah.
He's well put together. And so when he takes off running, he can break some arm tackles.
Yeah.
And he can cause some damage, which if he's not the starter, he doesn't have the same sense of urgency of getting down or going out of bounds, because he's going to try to make the most of those plays.
Exactly.
So now the other thing on the offense, to wrap it up, Will Mallory, oh my God.
Well, I know you say that Jaron threw him open, which he did throw him open, but I mean, Will Mallory made a spectacular catch towards the back of the end zone. That was beautiful, man.
That kid is a stud.
But I'll tell you
right now, there's not a tight end in this country that I would trade either Brevin or Will Mallory for.
No.
Period.
No.
Period. Those two guys are untouchable. Enos has done it before. He did it at Arkansas. You're going to see a lot of 12 personnel. You're going to see a lot of 2 tight ends.
Yeah.
And they are mismatches no matter against who. They're nightmare.
Right.
Because linebackers can't stay with them, and they're so much bigger and stronger than DBs, and they both have good hands. They both high point the ball, and they both can run after the catch. Mallory has those sprinter, people don't know this about Mallory. He ran a sub 11-second 100-meter at 6'5", 220.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
that's a big boy running.
Yeah.
Because if sub 11 seconds in the 100-meter, you can pick him up and put him down.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously, I agree with you 100%. I wouldn't trade Brevin and Will for anybody, but we know what those guys are capable of. So we know, the talent that we have in the tight end position when it comes to those two. But to me, this spring, a pleasant surprise at tight end has been Michael Irvin.
Yes.
He's been
yes.
a pleasant surprise. Yes.
Good news, Mike. His dad, no throat cancer, and there was a big scare there. Yeah. And Mike Irvin he talk about somebody who's reshaped his body.
Mm-hmm.
If you haven't seen Michael Irvin, if you haven't watched the spring games, he doesn't look like the same guy from last year.
No.
He has I mean, he must have cut 5-6% body fat from where he was. He's chiseled now. He looks fantastic. He looks faster.
Mm-hmm.
You know, our tight ends are 3D. They really are.
And that's props to Feely.
Exactly. A lot of props to Feely and a lot of props to Michael Irvin, too, because he's been working hard.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I'm not saying that he's in the league of Brevin and Will, because he's not.
Mm-hmm.
But he's going to see the field.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to see the field, and he's going to get a chance to make some catches. He's going to, even his blocking, I think, has gotten better. Irvin he had a beautiful touchdown catch. Did you see the touchdown catch he had on I think Nkosi threw that
Nkosi, yeah, Nkosi threw that one, yeah.
It was a good pass by Nkosi, and Irvin made a beautiful catch for a touchdown.
Yeah.
I think offensively, the other thing we'll talk about the running backs, Cam Harris. First off, DJ is not going to lose the job because DJ's been playing lights out.
Yeah, he has.
Every scrimmage, DJ's going to be on the field.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling Enos is going to use him really creatively, put him all over the place. I think obviously we don't know the mystery is Lorenzo Lingard. Apparently it's an MCL injury is what he had. He was dressed out. He was in pads Saturday. So, but he didn't play.
Yeah.
I think from what I've heard, come summer, he should be fine. He should be ready. And now we have a three-headed beast at running back.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then you're going to see Enos using Dallas, you know, yes, as a running back, but maybe Wildcat, maybe in the slot. He's going to use DJ the way he is, which is a weapon.
Well, I hope Enos continues to use DJ the way, that Richt used him. Because I love the way that Richt used DJ with the Wildcat. I think he did fantastic. He was dynamic. It felt like when we couldn't get the running game going with whoever it was that we had back there, whether it was, Rozier or Nkosi, we put DJ in the Wildcat and he was able to get, the running game cranked up. So I hope we still do see that, and I'm sure we will. I'm sure Enos has seen the success that he has had running the Wildcat. So that's something that he would absolutely implement. I don't see why not.
I guarantee you, if you look at the average per play when DJ ran the Wildcat, it's probably a good 6, 7, 8 yards.
I was going to say that's 7, 8 yards.
Somewhere in that area. So, and he was a quarterback in high school, so he can't throw the ball.
Yeah.
So they have to respect that.
Yeah.
And so DJ's doing great, but Cam Harris, man, he has a shiftiness that if you think you're going to tackle Cam in the open field, you have another thing coming.
Well, the thing about Cam is, like you said, we'll see what happens with Zoe. I mean, you know me, dude. I've been rooting for Zoe since he first got here. So I hope he gets healthy, and I'm still rooting for him to come back and to really make a push for that starting running back position. But at least from what we've seen from Cam is that where you don't really necessarily see with DJ, being the case is he could be a 4-down back. He's an all-purpose back. First down, second down, short yardage situations. I mean, he can do it all. He has the body for it. He has the speed, shiftiness, which is what you were saying. I mean, he has grabbed this, opportunity by the horns, and you could see that he's been putting in the work. And I've been so, impressed with what he's brought to the table, so far.
I had a thought that just popped in my head. If DJ comes back next year, because remember, DJ is a junior this year, so he has another year of eligibility.
Right.
If DJ comes back, we'll have DJ, Cam Harris, Lorenzo Lingard, and I might have said Lorenzo Lingard first, Don Chaney,
Don Chaney, yeah.
and Asa Martin.
Yeah.
I don't know if I mentioned Asa.
Yeah.
That's like 5 studs. That's going beyond even what we did when we had Gore, McGahee, and Portis.
Yeah.
Because you're talking now 5 studs deep. And I'm not even mentioning Robert Burns. I'm not mentioning Rielis George.
Well,
I'm not
he
mentioning.
Got hurt again. I think.
That? Burns.
I think it's time to kind of not expect Burns to
I know.
do anything for the University of Miami.
And it's a shame because that guy, man, he put on the show that I think he was like 13 or 14, and he went to one of those combine style openings or these camps,
right?
And there's still people that, I mean, they talk about Robert Burns like if they saw Jesus, because they said he put that combine when he was like 13 or 14. It just like got people, like everybody like hushed, and they, after they whooped and hollered, and then it was amazing the type of combine that or the type of whatever they called it, the camp that he put together.
Yeah.
And but man, he's and I was hoping he'd be our short yardage guy, because I mean, he's obviously big, strong.
He has some tree trunks for legs, that's for sure.
Yeah, he can run. So we'll see. Hopefully, maybe the injury wasn't serious. Want to talk about the defense real quick?
Yeah, let's obviously, I feel like we don't even have to mention Rousseau because it just feels like it's one of those things, of when LeBron puts up a triple double or he puts up 30 points. Like people were saying, oh, LeBron is falling off this year because how bad the Lakers did, yet he's still averaging the same thing. I feel like Rousseau, he has performed so well, and it's just one of those things of like, you already know that Rousseau's gonna have a few sacks. So it's like, okay, who else did something besides Rousseau? We already know this. That's become the norm already. Yeah. So obviously, we can't wait to see it in, with an actual game. But he's been the sack king, and
you can't block him.
He's been the most impressive defensive player since last year in all the spring practices, all the spring games. He's been the most impressive defensive player for this team. So, I mean, yeah, Rousseau. This time he only got this past Saturday he only got 2 sacks.
2 sacks.
So
bad game. He had an off game.
He had an off game. He only got 2 sacks. He usually gets 3, 4, 5. But so yeah, he had 2 sacks. Harvey was a very pleasant surprise. He had 2 sacks. Patchen 1.5 with Garvin. Now they were on our boy. And I'm gonna call him our boy because he's the guy we've always thought was gonna take the starting quarterback role. But we saw some of the same things in Jaren, holding the ball too long and stuff like that. But at the same time, we have a hell of a defense. So it's one of those things and it's funny because when I talk about these things with my wife or with my family, and they tell me also, so who won the spring game? I'm like, no, the Hurricanes won. Oh, okay. Yeah, but they played against each other. So they're like, so how do you know whether the offense is doing really good or the defense is doing really bad? So it's one of those things of, a lot of sacks on the quarterbacks, but we do have a hell of a defense, guys. So, I mean, but yeah,
I'll tell you this much, and this is going to sound nuts, crazy. Our defense, I think, will be better this year than it was last year, as great as it was last year.
I feel like we've been seeing that every single year. Like, you told me that, when was it? When you told me that last year, when we lost Norton and when we lost
McIntosh,
and then we lost Trent Harris and stuff like that, and I was kind of like, oh, you sure? And then obviously we had Willis come in, but it just feels like we're reloading. and we're just reloading and reloading, and we're seeing these guys just on the defensive side of the football, just on the defensive line especially. I mean, we'll get to the cornerbacks and stuff like that, but man, Harvey was a pleasant surprise. Like I said, Patchen was. Patchen's been. We've been hearing that throughout practice, especially like a very early part of the spring, that Patchen has been, taking a step forward. And in his interview, he was like, "The time is now. I mean, this is it." So you could tell that other guys are just making other guys better, which is very, it's a very good thing to see, and it's a very promising thing to see. But yeah, I mean, what do you
By
think
the
about?
way,
Go ahead.
on Patchen, I wanted to tell you first off, you're right about Harvey. Harvey is a guy. All three of our early enrollee freshmen, Zion Nelson, Jeremiah Payton, and Jafari Harvey.
Yeah.
They all three of them have impressed me to no end because they were. I mean, it's relatively rare these days that you get a freshman that not only enrolls early, that says, "Oh no, I'm going to get on the field, and here's why." Zion Nelson's done it. Jeremiah Payton has done it, and Harvey has done it. Do you realize, and we're going to do our depth chart now, do you realize that Harvey is our fifth defensive end?
Yeah.
A guy who's our fifth defensive end because you're going to have ahead of him Garvin, Rousseau, Trayvon Hill, and Patchen.
Yeah.
How is that guy our fifth defensive end?
Yeah. No,
he's a monster.
Don't be surprised if he becomes our fourth. If he leapfrogs Patchen, and we'll see. We'll see with Trayvon, dude.
But the way Patchen and Trayvon's a beast. Don't get me wrong, Trayvon's a beast.
Yeah, he's a beast.
But the thing is, like we were saying, how can we be better than last year? Look at the depth of talent at a lot of these positions that we're talking about.
Yep.
So, but I want to say that let's talk about Patrick Joyner. Man, kudos to Patrick Joyner. They've moved him around, defensive end, linebacker. So now with all our linebacker injuries, they move him in there, and he does a great job at the mic and at the will.
Yeah. And
hats off to him. That young man being I believe he redshirted last year, so I think he's still a freshman. I don't think I think he was the one that there was a question about, that they thought he might have played a fifth game, but he didn't. So technically he's a freshman. And look what he did. He played really well, led the team in tackles.
Yeah.
Nesta played well, Gervin Hall, DJ Ivy, Jordan Miller, who now, again, that's probably our fifth defensive tackle.
I was going to say, yeah. Yep.
And Miller's a monster. Yep. I mean, you see how he's reshaped his body. He's the strongest cane that we have.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the strongest guy on that team. And he's going to break some of the weightlifting records at the U.
Yeah.
And he's our fifth defensive tackle.
Yeah.
A redshirt freshman.
Well, that's one of those things that we've always talked about is reloading. And I feel like we're finally starting to see, the beginning of that, especially on the defensive line. We're just reloading with more talent, and the transfer portal has opened up an opportunity for us to reload even more and to gain. I mean, when it comes to depth, there's not a position group on this team that's deeper than our defensive line.
No, it's amazing. It's amazing.
It's
and the by the way, 247 reported this today that they reported a source has told them that Manny's hitting the portal again. So Manos is at it again, probably looking for an offensive lineman, a linebacker, and a cornerback. He wants an experienced cornerback.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's going to depend on what's available and what we can get. But that's the 247 reported today that Manny's going to hit the portal again, and there's a possibility he's looking for 3 transfers. And at those positions, offensive line, I imagine probably tackle and the offensive line, and then linebacker and a cornerback.
The more the merrier. Come on down.
Manos working that portal again.
Yeah, for sure. Especially in the summer.
one more thing, and we never talk about these guys, and I feel like I'm insulting them, but Shaq and Pinkney, I mean, it's like every single. It's almost like we've gotten used to them being so good.
Well, it goes back to the thing that I said about Rousseau.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you know those guys are going to perform. You know they're going to show up. So it's, we want to see who else is going to show up because those guys are going to bring it every single Saturday. It's just, it is.
By the way, both of those guys have been working with Feely, and both of them look really good. Physically, they look really, really good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's basically about it. You want to go ahead and let's do our depth chart?
Yeah. Our at least our first depth chart, because I'm sure we're gonna hear
Yes.
stuff here and there during
Yeah.
the summer that's gonna make us think twice about things. And shoot, I might go to bed tonight and I might think different about a certain position. But at least as of right now, what do you want to hit first on the depth chart? And this is as of right now who we have leading at each position basically.
And but I am including the summer enrollees, and I am including the transfers that are coming in. So it's a depth chart of the entire team, even those that haven't reported yet.
Which is so yeah, let's preface it with saying that it
Right.
might not be fair, but at least from where we're at today, I mean this is pretty much at least what we think.
All right, let's start off with the DBs.
Okay.
We'll start off with the DBs. First at corner, you're going to have obviously Bandy. That's a no-brainer.
Mhm.
On the other side, I think the competition is pretty much over between Ivy and Blades.
You think so?
I think Ivy's going to be the starter. Now, the one thing I do want to see, and this is really, really important, I heard them talk about it at the beginning of spring, um, but obviously with the injuries we had, maybe they couldn't do it. First off, I think that defensively we're going to play a 4-2-5 as our base with the striker.
Mhm.
I think Romeo Finley's going to play a lot more than he did even last year as the striker, and they're going to use McLeod to back up Shaq and Pinkney. So to give them a breather. I think you're going to see Finley, and obviously the backup to Finley is Frierson. I think those guys are going to be on the field unless we play a running team or it's a 3rd and 1 or unless it's a running down or a running team. I think we play striker 75% of the time because of how good Romeo Finley is
Yeah.
and how well he's played.
Yeah.
And obviously, and we're also thin at linebacker too, so that would help. So on the DBs, what I want them to do, if they go to a real nickel,
Mhm.
okay, meaning not Finley, I'm not counting Finley on this,
Right.
but if they go to a real 4-2-5,
No striker.
no striker,
Right.
I like them to move Bandy inside to the slot
Mm-hmm.
and then put Al Blades on the outside corner.
Right.
So obviously we have Bandy as a starter and we have DJ Ivy on the other side. If they go to a real nickel, I'd like to kick Bandy inside to the slot and put Blades on the outside man. And I think Blades will back up both positions. I think you'll see Nigel Bethel play some.
We'll see because Blaze did play did cover the slot quite a bit in our nickel packages last year. So
he has. The thing is, I think we need to use Blades' length because Blades is a bigger guy than Bandy.
Yeah.
And Bandy has a lot more short area quickness.
Yes, he does.
So to me, if you put Bandy on the slot and then have DJ Ivy and Al Blades on the outside.
Right.
But I do think Ivy's a starter opposite Bandy. So when we're in our striker or the base, it's going to be Bandy and DJ Ivy. One of the things I saw, and we both love Blades. Obviously, we love all the Blades. I mean, they're
maybe.
Yeah, they're as orange and green as you can get.
Yeah.
I saw that on Twitter. Blades said something about him. He thinks about it too much. Blake Baker, I think, talked about that about Blades.
Rumph has said it. Rumph has when he talks about the battle between Ivy and Blades, he says Ivy reminds Rumph a lot of himself.
Yeah.
Right. And then when it comes to Blades, The tools are there. The talent's there. Blaze just seems that he's thinking too much. Instead of just reacting and letting the those kind of aspects of the game come to him, he's trying to force it in a way mentally where it's kind of is drawing him back a little bit. And I think that's the reason why Ivy has really taken a step forward in that competition when it comes to him versus Blaze. Ivy has played great, and we've seen it through practices. We've heard it from Rumpf. We've heard it from Baker. I mean, Ivy's been he's come a long way, and he's getting better. And the competition was there between him and Blades, and Ivy did not shy away from it. Ivy was, and neither did Blades. To Blades' credit,
right.
It's just Ivy is just it just seems like the sharper DB right now, whereas Blades still has a little bit. There's certain little aspects of his game that he might be missing, and when it comes to being as sharp, he has to think less and just attack and react the way Ivy has shown us, thus far in spring.
That's the thing that and the thing, part of the reason that you prepare a lot and you watch a lot of film and you do that is so when you get out there, you can let your body go and you don't have to think, because all that information you already put in your head, you already have that in your head. Yeah. So if you let your body go, you can just play freely, and you don't have to think. And Blades has, and he flashes, because Baker talked about it. He makes some big time plays. He made a huge hit. Was it this spring game or was it the previous one? That Blades made a beautiful hit on I forgot who it was that he knocked silly, but anyways, Blades has made some really good plays, and he flashes, but the problem is stability.
Yeah.
And the stability, consistency,
right.
is what I meant to say.
Right.
And to be able to do it consistently, where he plays freely and lets it go.
I will, but with that being said, I will bet the house that consistency will come, and he will prove to be, every bit of the player that we think he's gonna be.
Absolutely,
it's there for sure.
Absolutely, Al Blades, he's going to leave a legacy of Miami. So, and the thing is, in a weird way, part of the problem is he wants it so much, and he wants, and you could tell. I think that's what he meant in that tweet that he sent out, is that he wants to be so perfect, and he wants to, and I think it's actually hurts him, because that's when you think too much. You're scared to make a mistake. But Blades will be heard from, but I do think Ivy's going to be the corner. The two new guys are coming in, to Corey Couch and Christian Williams. So Corey, I think is a dog. He's a stud. He really is, but he's small.
Yeah.
Somebody said that he was up to like 170, but I don't know. I have a hard time. I mean, I believe he weighed like 140 something at one point last year, and so he might be up to 160, 165, maybe 170. But he needs to get bigger. Christian Williams, I think, will see the field if we have an injury, especially. But I think the three corners that you're going to see a lot of playing time are Bandy, Ivy as the starters, and then Al Blades. Going on to safety.
Yeah, you're talking about Couch's size. When I think about Couch's size now, I think about Nigel Bethel last year.
But Nigel's taller though. Nigel has a bigger frame.
Right. But I mean weight wise. Nigel has made some strides in the weight room, and he's shown some flashes. Fast. He's probably, him and Zoe are probably the fastest guys on the team. I would think.
I'd like to see that race.
I mean, we'll see. Assuming Zoe hasn't lost a step because of the injury, Lorenzo Lingard, I call him Zoe in case you guys don't know. Him and Zoe, I think, are the two fastest guys. So I just want to see Nigel on the field, whether it's returning kicks or whatever it may be. But like I said, he's made some strides in the weight room,
by the way, I think Couch a red shirt. I heard, I can't remember where it was, and I think actually somebody said this in a tweet, that something about Bethel, that why isn't he learned already. I don't know if people know this, in high school, he was used everywhere.
Yeah.
He had no experience playing corner, or at least playing only corner.
Right.
Because he's such a good athlete, they had him returning kicks, they had him returning punts, they had him running the ball, they had him. He was. I think the only thing he didn't do was punt.
Yeah.
So Bethel hasn't had that experience at corner that the other guys have.
Right.
So he's going to need a little bit more time to develop. You said he's gained some weight, some good weight, and so
without losing speed.
Without losing speed, that kickoff return showed it, and the one at Travis Paul, the kickoff return. So I think that's what's going to be, or at the DBs going to the safeties. And when you talk to a lot of the Canes family, and I get it, there's a bit of a bias to South Florida guys. That they want, they overrank the South Florida guys and underrank the guys that are from other places.
Right.
And at safety, Gervin Hall is definitely going to be one of the starters. Gervin's played great this spring. He's making that step to being a star.
Mm-hmm.
The other safeties, I think, is going to be Bubba Bolden. And here's the thing. He played 13 games as a true freshman at USC. Okay? Now, I know USC isn't the power that they used to be. You don't play 13 games as a true freshman at USC unless you're a baller.
Yep.
Okay? And Bubba, he's 6'3", so he has that size. He has tremendous range. He can stick you. He can put a hit on you too. And Gervin's a big time hitter.
Yeah.
So as much as I like Amari Carter, and I do, okay, this reminds me of when we had Jamal Carter, Rayshawn Jenkins, and I always forget who's the third. Bush, and we had a Bush. We had three NFL.
Deion Bush. I love Deion Bush.
Three NFL safeties.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we have three now. But I do think the starters are going to be Gervin and Bubba. I think Amari Carter is going to play an awful lot.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So, but I do think it's going to be Gervin and Bubba. Derek Smith is, if they need somebody else also in there, I think will be the fourth safety. I know people are not fond of Robert Knowles, but I don't think he'll be on the field much.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's just say that. And Keandra Smith, hopefully, I think he's a baller too. Hopefully, we probably could just redshirt him.
Mm-hmm.
But those are the DBs. That's the DBs the way I see them. Bandy and Ivy at the corners, Gervin Hall and Bubba Bolden at the safeties, and then we talked about Blades is going to be that first corner off the bench, and Amari Carter is going to be that first safety off the bench.
And defensive line.
Well, go to linebackers.
Well, yeah, let's go linebackers. I
don't think. Go linebacker.
I mean,
I have a shock. I'm going to shock you.
Oh no.
Middle linebacker will be Shaquille Quarterman.
Wow, that's a shocker. Okay, who else?
And the weak side linebacker, that's going to be Michael Pinkney.
Yeah, I think so.
Those guys are studs.
Yeah.
I do think what they're going to do with Zach McLeod. Zach, and I know everybody's always looked at him as the lesser of the three, but Zach's thing is he's really more of a middle linebacker.
Yeah.
And so he's been in the wrong position.
Yeah.
Okay. And he's played, he can stick you. Yeah. And he plays sideline to sideline. So I do like the idea of using Zach to be the number one backup to Shaq and Pinkney. So move him, in that spot. Obviously he's going to play some at strong side linebacker too. He's going to play some on the left when we use all three linebackers. But when we use a striker, he can still get in the game if Shaq or Pinkney, need a couple of plays off.
Right.
So it's sort of like what Mike Smith did last year.
Right.
For us, where he played a little bit of everything. I think that's what we're going to do with McLeod. Bradley Jennings, I don't know the extent of the injury. Heard some guys say yesterday that he might be out for the entire year, just like Wayman Steed. Obviously, we hope not. So Jennings, I think, would be the number one backup. That maybe the number one backup on the weak side if he's healthy, and then McLeod in the middle.
Yeah.
So I think that's basically it for the linebackers. Obviously, we're blessed to have Shaq and Pigney.
Yeah. So yeah, so that's pretty much for the linebackers. The defensive line,
Yeah,
I think it'll be
this is gonna be
Rousseau,
fun. By the
and
way, I did want to say on the linebackers, I made a note here. Patrick Joyner can get some time, and I think Avery Huff, if he puts on some weight, he might play some as a freshman, as a backup, obviously to Pigney.
and depending on what Manny brings into the portal, I mean, this there could be a huge shakeup here when it comes to the second team and stuff like that.
Yep.
But as of right now, that's pretty much where we stand. On the defensive line, I think we're both in agreement with Rousseau on the left side, Garvin on the right side, and we alluded to it a little bit on the beginning of the podcast about Trayvon Hill and Patchen and stuff like that. Harvey, has really come along. So I think that's going to be the rotation on the ends, and I think we're also both in agreement on Nesta and Ford. Being the two guys to manning the middle. I know you get it wrong, I get it wrong. If somebody could put one of those pronunciations where we could say it better, but in Roca,
I think I got it.
you got it.
Chigozie and Aruka.
Chigozie and Aruka. Yeah, it sounds good.
Chigozie and Aruka. I think that's the way you pronounce it.
Yeah.
Chigozie, I mean, if you look what he did back in 2017, he can penetrate as a D tackle. The problem, what happened with him, if people don't know why he transferred, is when Chip Kelly took over UCLA, he wants to play a 3-4.
Mm-hmm.
And Chigozie is a 4-3 D tackle. He's not a 3-4. He's not a nose guard.
Right.
So that's what happened to him last year at UCLA. Basically, they did away with his position.
Yeah.
But if you look at 2017, he was very productive.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think you're going to see Chigozie in there and Pat Bethel.
Yeah.
And the thing with Bethel is, Bethel doesn't jump off the screen at you. If you're watching the Canes, and I love that, how much I love watching the trenches, is Bethel rarely does something spectacular, but he never does something poor. He's just solid. He's a good, solid D tackle.
Exactly. 100%. Yep.
So he has to be in that mix. So I think those are the four that you're looking at the D tackle. Nesta, Ford getting the most playing time, Chigozie, and who's the other one I just mentioned? Oh, and Pat Bethel.
And Bethel.
And then Jordan Miller's
Miller, like we said, is the fifth one.
The 50 tackle.
Yeah.
If you like, and on the ends, I think it's going to be Garvin and Rousseau starting, Trayvon Hill backing up Garvin's spot, and Patchen backing up Rousseau's spot.
Yeah.
So
I think we're pretty much set.
Yeah, and we mentioned too deep because normally, let's say on average, you have 70 defensive snaps a game. You're going to want those starters to play 45, let's say, and then have the second teamers play 25. And the thing is that we don't have much of a drop off,
right?
With those second teamers.
Yeah.
So I think that's basically the D line. On the offensive line,
well, before you get to the offensive line, I mean, we could touch on it very quick, guys, but we posted up a video already where we discussed the offensive line, the projections of what we think. So, I mean, I think
hold on,
they might change a little bit.
I changed that.
Right. I know.
I changed it big.
We're going to have a lot of part 2s, part 3s, part 4s, so where things are going to be changing, obviously, as we get closer to the opener. But let's touch lightly on it because I think a few things. But I think because of Zion Nelson, I think, and the impact he's made.
You talk about a kid that's. I mean, this young man has already become one of my favorite players because so many people in his position at the University of Miami. You come in as an offensive tackle, you're 6'5" and you weigh 242. Would have said, "Okay, I'll chill. Take my red shirt, gain some weight, hit the weight room. Next year I'll play."
Yeah, not him.
This young man didn't do that.
Nope.
He came out and, man, I think he's going to be our starting tackle. I think he's going to be our starting left tackle. And I would have never thought that a month ago.
I don't know. I still have Scaife there.
You still
I,
have Skate.
I still have Scaife there on the
The
left
thing with
side.
Zion is he's such a pure tackle.
Yeah.
I mean, tremendously. He's very athletic. First off, and that goes back to what we talked in the first podcast.
Yeah.
That Butch Berry's idea is same as Wisconsin's: get big, but underweight. Offensive linemen, and then you build them up with good weight,
The right
and
way.
they maintain that athleticism.
Exactly. You gotta be. Yeah.
So he did the same thing with Adam El Gamal, who's the guy who's going to report in the summer from Christ the King. He was a teammate of Jared Harrison Hunt, which we even talk about. And that New York connection plus Holly from Georgia. Those guys are going to be monsters, and they might not see the field.
Yeah.
So, but I just think Zion he has great feet. He's tough. I mean, he's tough. And this is not a knock on Scaife, because I think Scaife is probably our second best offensive lineman already to Donaldson.
Yeah.
So, that's not a knock on Scaife. I just think Zion, he has his sights set on left tackle, and I think he gets it. I think he does. And
that would be beneficial to us, because then we could pretty much put Scaife, which I think is his more natural position at guard on the right side.
Correct.
With Naval Donaldson being the left guard. If indeed Zion, keeps on, killing in the weight room and keeps on impressing the coaches, I mean, hey, there's a possibility. And I think it's beneficial to our line, because then we could move, like I said, Scaife to guard on the right side.
For those of you that haven't heard this, Dan Enos said very clearly that Zion, because he said that Zion and him reported to the U the same day, and he saw Zion. He said, "Oh man, that's a good-looking kid. He's going to be good in a couple of years." And no, the kid gains 29 pounds, is up to 271, and Dan Enos said it. He said it very clearly. If he continues on the path that he's on, he's going to be a first team.
Yeah,
left tackle
for sure.
So for Enos to say that publicly, they've had that conversation already about Zion.
Yeah.
So I do think now that he will be the left tackle. I do. Okay. I'll put at the right tackle, if everybody's healthy, I think I put down Herbert. And yeah, I put Kayleon Herbert. I do. I'll stick with that. I'll stick with that.
Campbell?
Yeah. Man, that's rough.
It is tough. Because I'm leaning.
Did I wait? You leaning Campbell?
Yeah, I'm on the right, for the right tackle. I'm leaning Campbell. But I mean, it's tough to say, because we're going to see how this is going to shape out. I mean, we're going to see if maybe somebody makes a leap, or if maybe Scaife has to take that right tackle spot. I mean, it's tough, man. There's a lot of moving pieces and a lot of players that we just don't know, frankly, yet. We just.
But here's the thing, though. I do want to say is we have a lot more talent at the offensive line than people give us credit for.
No, talent we have, but reps we don't.
That's the thing. Other than Donaldson, we don't have anybody experienced.
Right.
In terms of that's going to play. Obviously, Tommy Kennedy's experienced, but it's a Butler and Tommy. But here's the thing, though. I do want to say that Tommy Kennedy, when we got him, the other teams that were in play were Oklahoma and the Gators. Okay? Right. So it wasn't like, we got this guy from Butler that nobody wanted. This guy was wanted.
Yeah.
And I know he hasn't shown very much, and he's been bullied. He's been manhandled. But if our offensive line wasn't as talented as they are, Tommy Kennedy's problems wouldn't have shown up as brightly as they did.
That's a good point.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So because there's a lot of teams that might have plugged him at left tackle anyways.
Yeah.
and now he's basically our third team center.
Yeah.
So I think that says more about Miami's talent. And let's remember, we have a guy who has an NFL pedigree as coach in Butch Berry.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to go. The only reason I'm going with Herbert is he's finally healthy, because I think he had a labrum issue his first year, and he had a knee issue his second.
Right.
So he's healthy, and he was highly regarded. So I think, but you're right, it might be John Campbell if he's healthy at right tackle. Yeah. Then obviously the guards we talked about, Donaldson and Scaife, and Corey Gaynor. People talked about Donaldson as center. Corey Gaynor was doing a great job before he got banged up.
Yeah.
And Donaldson's a monster guard. Leave him alone at guard and let him just run over linebackers.
Yeah, I want to see him. I want to see him at guard. I mean, if we're having Donaldson, at the center position, then I think it's because we're getting nicked up everywhere, right. And then we have some bigger issues.
We also have for a backup, we also have Jakai. Can't pronounce that first name.
Jakai Clark.
Yeah, is that the way you pronounce it, Jakai?
I'm pretty sure it's Jakai Clark.
Yeah, because it's Jakai. So, and he's ready to go because he was about 6'3", I think 305.
Yeah.
So he can back up at center also.
Yeah.
Which I think was the idea for him, anyways. If we can't redshirt him, at least back up to Gaynor. But I think that starting five.
Yeah.
Of Zion Nelson, Navon Donaldson, Gaynor, Scaife, and then John Campbell or Kalion Herbert.
Yeah.
That's a strong starting five. Cleveland Reed, it seems like he's coming along at guard, so he can back up.
Mm-hmm.
He can be a good backup. Whoever loses out to in that right tackle competition, whether it's Campbell or Herbert, can back up at the other tackle. Yeah. Okay, although Herbert, they seem to want to keep him on the right side, but Campbell at the very least could back up at both.
Yeah.
And we talked about Cleveland Reed. Zelante Hillary is probably going to be a backup right guard. Mm-hmm. I think they're going to keep him kicked in. And I think that's basically it on the offensive line.
Yeah.
You want to go to receivers?
Yeah, let's just I think with receivers it's pretty easy. I mean, at least from what we've seen, obviously easy in the sense that we have guys that we've basically seen what they can do in Jeff Thomas. Now, Jeff Thomas and Hightower had a little procedure done on their knee, so they're going to be out.
They said it's minor. They said it's minor for both. They should be back by the summer. So
exactly. So I mean, we haven't seen them obviously, but I mean, we assume it's going to be Jeff Thomas, KJ, like we said earlier, it's going to be that security blanket.
Mike Harley, who's also a minor injury. Mike Harley's going to get a lot of playing time. And remember, for those of you who don't know, Dan Enos, he doesn't believe in just X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
He wants receivers to learn all three positions.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. He wants everybody to learn all three positions. So he's going to move, KJ could be on the right side one play, on the left the next time, and on the slot the third time.
Right.
So
and it's never Go ahead.
No, that's what I'm saying. And that's going to benefit us because it's going to stop teams from keying on Jeff Thomas.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to be able to know where he's going to be.
Exactly.
He might line up, wide, like I said, wide, and then be in the slot. Enos is going to be very creative. I think Thomas is going to lead the team in receiving yards and possibly touchdowns.
Yeah, but I think KJ might lead the team in catches though.
In catches,
a security blanket. That's what I think about when I see him. Yep. And he's a senior, so he brings that maturity, the understanding of how to run routes. Because sometimes you get these new guys coming in that have all the talent and the speed, yet they don't know how to be a wide receiver. Yeah. And so I think KJ his route running looks like a senior, and it's on point, and it looks like a senior. So that's why
a senior that works really hard.
Exactly,
because he has a great work ethic.
But Pope, I think the worries that we had about Pope about dropping passes, he seems to be really working on that because he's been making some good catches and some good plays and breaking tackles. He had a very nice play this past weekend in Orlando where he broke a tackle and ran it upfield for a few more yards. So that was promising to see. The thing about I will say about the wide receivers, you never want to see injuries, but because we did have because Hightower and Thomas have been out, you've had the younger guys really step up. Jeremiah Payton has been one. Evidence Njoku, D Wiggins. So these are guys that we saw sparingly last. Not no D Wiggins we saw sparingly last year. Obviously, Evidence as well,
We
but
we saw D Wiggins more than we saw Evidence.
right. But
Right.
and Pope for some reason, and maybe it was the drop passes. I'm not sure. We didn't see as much of Pope last year as we thought we were gonna see, but since we had the injuries to Hightower and to Thomas, Pope and Peyton and Evidence and those guys have really filled in quite nicely. So I think, going back to what you said, Jeff Thomas and KJ, Harley, Hightower, Pope. I mean, we have the depth and we have the talent in wide receiver. I don't think that's an issue. The injuries and the minor surgery that Jeff Thomas and Hightower have is nothing to be concerned about. So I think we're going to be fine there. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the wide receivers. Running backs,
I do want to say that I want to say one thing for the wide receiver because I actually just noticed this. Do you realize that D Wiggins, who is a stud sophomore, okay, and I actually have him either 7th or 8th in our wide receiver, who I think are going to get the most playing time. D Wiggins, I have him 7th or 8th.
Yeah,
that's how good our wide receivers are.
Yeah,
because I have it in order. I put down Thomas, KJ Osborne, Mike Harley. I got Hightower ahead of Pope, but Hightower, Pope, who Pope, by the way, is probably our second most explosive wide receiver behind Jeff Thomas. Wouldn't you say so? That he's the second most explosive?
Well, yeah, because of speed. I think after Jeff Thomas, he's the fastest one.
Yeah.
So yeah, in terms of speed,
and then
I think
Jeremiah Payton, it looks he showed up. You got to get him on the field.
Yeah.
You got to play him.
Yeah.
The kid's a stud.
Yeah.
And he has good route running, good hands, works hard, does all the extras, blocks downfield, everything that you want.
Yeah.
He's earned playing time. So you're going to have to give him. And I think Enos is going to do a really good job of using everybody.
Yeah, I think so.
Of using everybody.
Absolutely.
And then you think about on red zone, you have Evidence Njoku who's 6'6", Will Mallory who's 6'5". You have Hightower. Hightower's what? 6'3". Wiggins is 6'3".
6'4". Hightower might be like 6'4".
So you got some big guys.
Size and speed.
Yeah. So and a lot of speed. And so that's it. The tight ends, I think we talked about it.
Yeah. Brevin Mallory, obviously, Michael Irvin Jr. And then some more depth. You got just in case, God forbid, you get some more injuries the way we did last year at tight end. We still have Brian Palendi. So
we got Irvin. The obviously the top two who are going to get a ton of time are Brevin and Will Mallory.
Yeah.
What's good is they complement each other because Brevin is Mallory's the speed guy. People said Mallory's the Njoku type and Brevin's the Herndon type.
Right.
And both those guys, Njoku was a first-round draft pick, and Herndon was a third-round draft pick.
Yeah.
These guys have just as much talent, if not more.
Yeah.
If not more. So, those are two studs. I think Enos is going to those guys are going to take over the country in terms of tight ends.
Oh, yeah.
And Brevin and Mallory. And Michael Irvin has earned some playing time. So, don't be surprised if we even use some 3 tight end sets.
Hey.
Like red zone and stuff like that. I wouldn't be
surprised with anything that Enos throws out there. I think the fact that the first motion that we saw at Travis Powell, which was the first scrimmage that was open to the public, it was funny because the guys motion, everybody started clapping. So I wouldn't be surprised what Enos tries to implement with his offense, to be honest with you. But let's take it to the running backs because let's start wrapping this up.
Yeah,
DJ.
I think people are saying that Cam is going to unseat him as a starter.
I'm one of those people.
Yeah, but you know what though? It really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter because we're going to use both. So whoever starts, I wouldn't be surprised. Now, if you're asking me, would I be surprised that Cam gets more carries than DJ? Okay, I'd agree with that. He probably does.
Yeah.
And Cam's earned it. He's earned it because he's another guy that looks like he's been hitting the weight room and his body fat percentage is down. And I mean, he looks good. He looks good. He looks quicker than before. Accelerates through a hole really, really well. Is very shifty. He's hard to hit. But DJ's been playing lights out too. So it's not like DJ's like got the job taken away from him because he's been playing great football.
Yeah.
So I think I hope obviously Lingard is able to come back to 100%.
Right.
And then you got a three-headed monster. And then maybe use Realist George. And if Robert Burns can come back as your short yardage backs.
Yeah. I don't really see it that much unless you're you're trying to run, like we saw Rick do, feels like on every single 31 or fourth and short, with the fullback dive. So I don't really. We have guys. Cam could be a short yardage guy. He has the body for it, but if you really need, Realist George and that humongous body, I think he's somebody that could definitely pick up a yard or two on short yardage situations. But yeah, so I think
that's a dude that's remade his body too. I mean, David Feely he's remade his body. He got rid of bad weight, and he is a monster.
100%.
He's a monster. So I think that's where we're at running back. And last but not least, we wrap up the quarterbacks.
Yeah. Well, we already kind of talked about it. We thinking Cozy has his nose, in front
has the lead.
Yeah, has his nose in front of Jaron and Tate, not by much, but in Cozy, I mean, you got to give it to him. Disclaimer: one of the first things I said, regardless of Jaron being my guy, whoever Enos and the coaching staff thinks is the best guy for the position, and so be it, man. Whether it's in Cozy, whether it's Jaron or Tate, doesn't matter to me, to be honest with you. So
now here's the thing I will say. And I do want to say this. Like I said, we're in agreement. Right now, 1A is in Cozy.
Yeah.
1B is Jaron. 1C is Tate.
Yeah.
All right, through spring. Not arguing that.
No.
I think all that doesn't matter.
Right.
I think come when they reconvene for summer practice, if there's a quarterback that does not have a great grasp of the offense already, where he can play quickly, and has not been working with the receivers, and has not been working on the mechanics that Enos wants, will immediately be eliminated from the competition.
Yeah.
They might not say it publicly, okay, but whoever works the hardest in this next 2 months and shows leadership by bringing wide receivers to work with him, whatever else that they have to work on those mechanics that Enos wants. Whoever does that the most, that will be your starting quarterback, and that hasn't been decided yet.
Yeah, 100%. I agree.
So I think that's where. And the one thing I do want to say about Nkosi, here's what scares me. I heard, in fact, I think it was Zoe, when he was showing the game, he talked about that, that Enos is working with Nkosi on touch, on having more touch.
Right.
Here's the problem I have with that. He's in his third year in college. Okay. When the bullets start flying, when you're getting rushed, throwing a 10-yard pass that we've talked about before, where you bullet it, and it's away from a guy's body where they have virtually no chance to catch it.
Right.
You shouldn't have to be teaching a quarterback in his third year of college touch.
No, I agree.
And what I've always seen is either you have touch or you don't. Now, the one thing that confuses me about Nkosi is he'll make a pass showing beautiful touch, and then he gets pressured, and then he bullets a pass that's the guy's 10 yards away, that there's no chance on completions.
Yeah, I agree. Inconsistency. That's what it's always come down to Nkosi. Inconsistency.
That's the thing that scares me.
On accuracy. So, we'll see. But
because here's the thing. When you have a wide open guy 5 or 10 yards away, okay, you have to make that throw and that catch 95% of the time, man.
Yeah, you do.
When it's and in Cozy, sometimes just doesn't do it.
Yeah,
he doesn't, and if he feels pressured, boom, he gets rid. He tries to get rid of it fast, and he throws it too hard, and then there you're punting.
Yeah.
So, and the thing I love about Jaron, and this is, and again, I know I'm harping on the point, but short and intermediate, man, he doesn't miss.
No.
He really doesn't miss.
No.
And he has perfect touch.
Yeah.
He throws a really catchable ball. So I mean, that's why I like Jaron. But like I said, I don't deny that Nkozi's the leader right now.
Mm-hmm.
And if Jaron isn't the hardest working QB in the next 2 months, so be it.
So be it.
You got your opportunity.
Yeah.
And if it's Nkosi, I'm ready to ride with number 5.
Hell yeah. Especially number 5. That's my favorite number. So, I mean, I always rooted, I'm rooting for Jaron, and I'm rooting for Nkosi. I'm rooting for Tate. There's this misconception out there where that if you think, or if you give a percentage on a guy being our quarterback August 24th, that you're hating on another guy, or you don't like a certain the other guy, because no, it has nothing to do with that. I mean, this is just our opinions. We've always liked Jaron. Accuracy. I mean, when I think about a quarterback, I think about a guy that puts it in there and puts it where it needs to be. Most of the time, not half of the time. Not completing 50% of your passes. No, most of the time. So that's something that we've seen with Jaron, and we've seen the inconsistencies with Nkosi. Now, he's looked good, and he's been consistently the best quarterback out of the 3 thus far. But I mean, who knows? Like you said, whoever works hardest, that's going to be the guy. So it could be Nkosi, it could be Tate, it could be Jaron.
Absolutely. So, and I think that's going to. I think Manny, when they come back for summer, I think after a week, Enos and Manny are going to know who the guy is, even if they don't announce it publicly. That first week, they're going to know. They're going to know the guy who worked the hardest. They're going to know the guy who has the best grasp of the offense, because in reality, we have 3 uber talented quarterbacks, okay, that all 3 of them could play at the college level. All 3 of them could start at the college level.
Yeah.
Okay. So whoever works the hardest on mechanics, on working with the wide receivers on their own, on doing all the things that you have to do to be a leader, that's going to be your quarterback.
Yeah.
But as of right now, you said Perry, Jaron, and Tate in order. You want to give new percentages for us to sign off?
Yeah, let's sign off with the percentages on the quarterbacks.
Okay. Now, again, I say to you, I know Nkosi has the lead this spring over Jaron, and Jaron over Tate. My percentages now will be 45 Jaron.
Okay.
30 Nkosi, 25 Tate.
Okay. I have the same exact percentages. I'm just giving Tate 30 and Nkosi 25.
Okay.
So that's pretty much, yeah. Nkosi's has gone up.
Yeah, and I don't know what we have that, and it's true with you family. You have like these camps, like the Perry camp, and then the Jaron camp, and then the Tate camp, and it's like, it's almost like you're insulting their mothers if you don't agree with their quarterback.
There's always that thing of whoever you took from day one, if that ends up becoming a guy, oh, I told you so. I told you it was gonna be that guy. That comes that ego. So I mean,
but here's the thing: we said Jaron is our guy, but we don't deny that Nkosi has had the best sprint.
Oh, absolutely. I don't think there's a question.
And I'll tell you what: if it's Nkosi that shows up and is ready, knows the offense and is worked on everything, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right, because he does have a cannon for an arm.
Yeah,
nobody can deny he has a absolute cannon.
Yeah.
Of an arm.
Yeah.
So
So
that's basically it.
that's basically it, guys. Thank you for joining us once again. We're gonna make more videos about recruiting. We're gonna cover a little bit of the 2019 class. We're gonna go over the 2020 class. Give our our evaluations, based on those classes. And yeah, we're gonna make more videos. Just because spring, football's over, does not mean that we're done making videos. We might go into more depth about certain position groups as summer comes goes along. So things are gonna change. We're gonna hear about rumors. We're gonna hear about this. So yeah, football, on the field to the public, it might be done, but this is a crucial time right now for this program, and to see how these kids really, progress, and to see, how they come back when fall comes around. So hit that like, subscribe, comment if you can, whatever you guys think. If you guys disagree, if you guys agree, whatever it is, me and the old man, we're going to be engaging with you guys. So we're going to have a lot of conversations with you. This is something that we do regular. I mean, the, talking, me and the big dog, but we're doing this for you guys. We want to engage with you guys, with the Hurricanes family. So let us know.
Absolutely, absolutely. And like you said, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell.
Yes.
So you get notified every time we drop a new video. And please, constructive criticism is welcomed.
Yeah.
And that's leave some comments, and we'll engage with you guys, and hopefully make the show better.
Yeah. Well, one video a week at the very least. Yes. We're always going to be putting something out there, but depending on the environment, the buzz that's going around, not just about the Hurricanes. We're going to be talking about NFL, fantasy. Yep. We got to cover the NBA playoffs because it's pretty hot right now. So
yeah, we do.
We got to talk some NBA. It's not just Hurricanes, guys. We're gonna get into more stuff. Coming up in the next few weeks. So stay tuned, man. Thanks, guys, once again. And we out. Throw it up.
It's all about the you.